A short little break. Hope everybody stayed hydrated. Maybe went to the restroom. BSJ, you just took a quick power nap. You're ready. This is PSG.LGD, winner of Epicenter, versus Newbee versus Newbee, a team that used to win minors, majors, do everything. Now they can't even get out of group stages. Well, I mean,
that just seems to be Dota right now. A bunch of
really
teams that just seemed all over the place. And LGD, I mean, they just won the major, but they weren't looking too impressive prior to that. So I think these 2-week patches are just kind of throwing the meta for such a loop every time that these teams are just kind of bouncing back and forth.
Yeah.
Talked to Kyle a bit earlier saying that none of these teams really look clean. Like, none of them look very just clinical as we've seen in the past, where and that seems to be showing in the game times, at least in the mainstream. 60-minute games, pretty much every game.
And it feels, gyro. People are like, that's the thing, right? All these new patches come out, but people are just going back to their their classics. They know they can win games with. You get a gyro, possibly get a Medusa. OD's completely gone. Miss him. But, well, I mean, do you think Newbee has a chance?
Oh, I think for sure. I think these players, they're veterans. They're well experienced. I think players like this, they can always make a comeback. Have they played yet in this tournament?
Newbee has. Yes, they've played one game. I actually do not know the record. I know LGD RD is 2-0.
Yeah, I saw that. And, I mean, I always think these Chinese teams can take games off of each other because they do play each other a lot. Yeah. And I'm always interested to see the meta in a different region, just because,
it's different than when they play internationally, right? Like regional Dota, I've always talked about. I mean, even like going back to when you guys beat EG, right? It's because it's just because you guys play each other so much, even
Glory
in pubs and all
that.
Yeah, but regional Dota can always change. Even in Europe, you see
you
teams,
just know each other way better.
Yeah, like Penta beat Liquid in a couple games. You're like, how'd that happen? It just they know. But we do have a draft finally. There are a few bans coming out, but man. We're going to see. This is going to be a Night Stalker first picked by Newbee.
I know they're one of the few teams that – I mean, this hero seems to be prioritized pretty highly by most teams. It's just the fact that lane supports are so common now because they just remove bounties. They removed really anything else to do than just sit in the lane.
Sit in the lane, yeah.
Yeah, and Night Stalker is one of the best high HP regen, high armor, and high base damage as well. And then once the nighttime comes on, as a carry player, there's very few carries that if once the 4-minute mark rolls around,
or can avoid
still farm.
Yeah,
like you just get voided and dove.
Yeah.
And it limits heroes. And so these first picks, it's always nice when they limit the hero pool of the opponent.
Yeah. I was wondering. I heard was Kyle trash talking you about? Do you like the new bounty runes? Do you think they're good, bad?
We were having a nice intellectual debate.
Yeah. And where were you?
I think that they're nice for the laning stage in regards to the fact that I think they basically say, because of the catapults as well at the 5-minute mark, that you have to plan the entire game around that timing hitting. So it really makes the teams have to say, we have to hit this timing with our lineup, our items, like make sure we're ready to go. And I like that aspect because it kind of lines the objectives up in the game. But at the same time, like later on in the game, he liked the fact that if you have map control at certain minutes, like the gold as the game goes on is insane. Because
it's like playing around another Roche, except it's like 200 gold per person per rune.
And it's just a rune. It's not like you don't take any time to do it. You just have to control that area. And I think it's an interesting change, but overall it's still hard to gauge these type of changes. And that's why I think a lot of these teams just look so flustered, I guess you could say, because there's these little changes that, I mean, Dota's a field game, right? At the end of the day, you base your play off of experience and what you're used to, and when they change these like little rules to the game that affect every single hero, every single game, just makes it that much harder to adjust. But that's why a lot of these teams are saying they're picking stuff they're used to. And the Bane DP, probably one of the most contested heroes of the last like 3 patches.
Yeah, I think they actually first picked this in Epicenter versus Liquid too. It's just, I mean, Bane, one of those heroes, especially like you said with those 2-1-2 static lanes. Who's going to be able to beat someone who just brain saps you 6 times in lane?
Yeah,
for some reason he didn't lose intellect. Who knows why?
You got to keep his stats the same, Yeah. That's the lore or whatever you want to call it.
The lore, the elemental lore.
Yeah, something like that. Sometimes I just have to come up with some explanation, but
of why Bane didn't get nerfed. So what you see a Death Prophet, they just take another support. Like, is there a reason Newbee doesn't pick a core after seeing Death Prophet?
I think that the main thing is when you see an enemy core like this, sometimes your idea will be, I'm going to pick the matchup in the lane. But the thing is, DP is a hero that what people have been they've just been throwing her in whatever lane makes sense based on the draft. Like, not necessarily the best lane for DP, but like whatever lane we can draft a good hero for our lineup. And so it's kind of hard to be like, we're going to pick a mid that counters DP, because what if they just move it somewhere else? And AA is probably the best support against DP because of the fact that DP is just a hero that you need to burst. And AA, a little bit awkward with Night Stalker support. So I mean, the main thing you look at with AA is he's the dunk, but you need the alley-oop. You need the stun that sets him up, because I mean, it's in no way is it really so they immediately ban the DK, one of the greatest cores for you want like low cooldown stuns. You think of like DKs, CKs. Sometimes you can go for like ultimates like Faceless Void, or you can do stuff like Sanking in the support position or the offlane position. But at the end of the day, that's what I'm expecting to see coming out from Newbee's lineup, because Night Stalker is not a hero that traditionally goes with
AA.
The AA. Yeah, he provides the vision, but does not set it up in the slightest. I don't know if these teams run Night Stalker 3.
I mean, I assume they can, but I think you're right. I think it's mostly just in the 4 role, but
and they kind of ban these laners that are hard to mess with. Like Lycan's a hero that counters the Night Stalker really well because of the nighttime howl, as well as the fact that they don't have any lockdown yet. And then the Omni Knight's just a hero that's hard to gank and goes well with the DP. With this Night Stalker AA offers a lot of damage, but you don't really have a lot of team fight. So banning out these heroes that they envision themselves not being able to deal with, I do like. I feel like the second round bans are more so heroes you don't deal with yet, because if you don't deal with them yet, then if they pick them, now you have to deal with them.
Yeah.
And that just, you don't want your draft to be pigeonholed or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I love this also from the new patch, right? How they changed the second banning phase. So now whoever has the last ban in this phase gets a pick. So it's kind of like a different version of last pick right now. You can ban a hero that's good, and then you can snap pick something.
Yeah, sometimes it would like telegraph your pick. Certain heroes, we were talking about this a bit earlier, me and Kyle. It's like it's not as powerful as changing the bans in the last round, because there's
that'd be nuts.
Yeah, but at the same time though, like there are certain bans in certain games that just tell you we're picking this, and so sometimes it definitely can have the second pick. Nobody wanted it, so they needed to they needed to make it slightly better in some capacity. So having that quick 1-2 ban quick pick, in this case Lina banned out, just nice the burst damage against the Death Prophet doesn't really set up the AA in any capacity, but it is still the burst damage.
She does decent versus DP middle too, right?
Yeah, it's a good lane matchup.
Who does decently versus DP.
And I think all the heroes that cause Lina mid issues, such as like the Tusk and the Bounty, these heroes are the ones that make it maybe a less favorable matchup for Lina, and those heroes are already gone.
Brian, I was wondering, who do you look up to more when you were playing on Freedom or all that? Was it Mugi or Ame when you watched the Chinese scene? Did you watch them a lot?
I actually didn't watch all that much of the Chinese scene, and now I've actually realized in the last maybe few months that Ame is probably the most similar hero pool to me, which is hilarious. And he's also a very good player, don't get me wrong. Like, I just watched him. I literally looked at the last 50 games or something that Ame played, and it's all of my favorite heroes, maybe throwing like a Monkey King or something in there. And I'm just like, and the thing I like about Ame compared to these other carries, it may seem like a limitation, but he just plays farmers and the one position every single game, and that's something we haven't seen all that much. Like, people try to emphasize the versatility that they have with their playstyle, and Ame just does one thing, and he does it well.
Yeah,
does
like
it
he's not going to play this Death Prophet, right? Like
no
other
way.
teams, you might see, like Liquid, they might change Death Prophet over to the safe lane or something like that, but Ame...
You know what hero he's playing when you see the draft.
You're going to know,
exactly. The Lunas, the Gyros, he does the same thing, and that's... I think that speaks a lot about a player's skill, that they can play the same similar role every single game and get away with it. And they do go for the Void. We talked about that being one of the setup heroes.
I think OG just played this earlier as well. They lost, but AA Void, I mean, it's a tale as old as
Time.
The Three Musketeers. So I don't know if that's an old tale.
But
yeah, Time
Disney
too.
On it,
Time, oh man. What is that even from?
Oh my, Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast. I never liked that movie.
I feel like you could relate.
I could. I could never find a beast for me, though.
I knew you were going to say that. No, I don't know how much I love the Void pick. You can like time walk through the charge, so you don't get hit by it. But I try to
think a lot of lockdown for him.
Yeah,
Bane and Death Prophet already.
I think of Void being good when they don't have like single target lockdown, and that's exactly what they have so far. So I'm curious to see if it ends up being maybe like an offlane Void. It could just be the utility setup. For the AA, but
I like the Ags Void still. I still think like Treads Aquila Ags like in an offlane.
Yeah,
we just don't see it that often.
Yeah,
though.
it's tough to. The thing with offlaners in this patch is most of them emphasize like heavy lane pressure, and so Void usually has to step back for some item. The Aquila could be enough sometimes, but the Kunkka.
Wait a minute. So are we sure then? Are we sure Ame isn't playing the Death Prophet? Do I just look like a fool already?
I mean, the one thing we said with certainty
was Ame.
The one thing.
And it's not looking good for us
right now.
Carry
Spirit Breaker. That's what we're going with. No, I'm kidding. There's no way. But the OD's a nice synergy with the Void, but it's also really good against the X and the Bane. Just there's so many ways to focus one hero down on the side of LGD that Astral, he can protect himself, he can protect the Void, he can follow up the damage. Hero that's kind of fallen off a bit because of all the mana nerfs on all of his skills, and then most notably all the items he buys. The Force Staff, the Hurricane Pike, Blink Dagger. All these items have been quite nerfed.
Does OD beats Kunkka pretty bad middle, right? For a couple
levels? I
believe
so.
Like if you just go like Orb plus... I mean, you obviously have to go one in your Astral for the X, but...
Yes, I believe that it's a slightly favored OD matchup, but other than the Razor matchup with the Kunkka, I don't think I've ever seen a Kunkka just get shut down.
Yeah.
He just kind of...
You can always deny, right? With Tidebringer, you can just abuse
strong.
it. But we don't even know. Maybe it's going to be... this is feeling like a Kunkka middle Death Prophet offlane, right?
Yeah, I'm yet to see a Kunkka go side lane.
Yeah, me too.
I'm yet to see it, but they do ban out the PL, so they're still assuming that LGD has not picked Ame's hero yet. And PL's definitely a strong hero against the lineup of Newbee since they have all the single target. A lot of people like OD against PL, but at the end of the day, it's really only good if you can identify which one is real. So Newbee, I see a lack of objective taking. That's the only thing I really see missing in their draft. So I hope they give themselves some straightforward way of doing that.
We're about to find out. Well,
and they go for the Sand King we talked about at the beginning of the draft, but maybe we'll see like a Helm Dom or something. I'm not sure on one of these heroes.
So you think it's going to be Sand King offlane? More than likely over the Night Stalker?
I think it's going to be a Night Stalker offlane just because Sand King support goes so well with AA.
Yeah, it just feels better.
Yeah, the combo is very, very traditional, and they go for the gyro. Traditional Amway hero that, just pick what bread and butter. So at least we said one thing.
Yeah, we weren't.
Yeah.
But so it is going to be an offlane Chelsea. That's right. I think he actually did play it one other time at Epicenter. And I'm pretty sure they won because they won almost every game there. But
yeah, be safe bet.
Man, both teams have huge team fight though, right? Gyro, Kunkka, Death Prophet versus like Sand King, OD, Void, AA. That is a lot.
Whoever
of team
gets
fight.
the jump is winning this for sure. That's the nature of this game. Both teams have a lot of burst.
Yeah, it feels like Newbee though. I mean, you have the Night Stalker for nighttime. It is KP playing it so offlane, but then Sand King with the blink. It feels like they just have easier ways to initiate.
And they also have the one save in the game. From the Outworld Devourer. So I personally look at this game and I think Gyro will struggle a bit to be self-sufficient in the safe lane, but at the same time, Bane, Spirit Breaker are two strong supports in terms of the laning stage. Spirit Breaker is quite similar to Night Stalker. He's just tanky. He just has a lot of health, and you just TP base and charge back in. So it's kind of similar to like a hero, like in the past when you used to have Skyrats who would suicide after throwing all their mana at you.
God, I'm glad they took that out, though.
Yeah, thank God. That was annoying. But Spirit Breaker, one of the few heroes that can still employ that strategy, trade himself all the way down. He even bought the Stout Shield on Spirit Breaker, so you know that LGD is expecting this aggro lane from the Night Stalker because that's what that hero does. And once the 4-minute mark rolls around, if you're behind, I mean, your carry, the game is just over. And the offlane Night Stalker doesn't tend to rotate more than maybe once towards the end of the nighttime because he's like, his goal is, I'm just going to get more farm than your carry because I'm
a Night Stalker. I have armor. I have HP regen.
I'm fast. I attack fast. I move fast. Yeah, exactly. And so I'm curious I'm going to be looking out for Ame's game is basically what I'm saying here. If he gets shut down, I don't see a Gyro coming back in this game, but if OD gets shut down, I think they're going to have some damage issues on Newbee.
Yep, that's the thing. Also, right, like once it feels like, I'm just going to call them LGD. LGD, they get BKB timings, right? And OD feels so bad against BKBs, right? Like, the first time Gyro has it, you just don't do anything to him. You just right-click him for, what, 40 damage? Your orbs do nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like they have the stuns, or at least the chase potential, but they don't have... And there's just a bit of poking back and forth at the bottom right. Nobody's killing each other. Everyone's just super bruisey and tanky here.
Oh, nice block by Ame to secure the rune. So,
and then Mugi actually sniped the rune top. So maybe the team we weren't expecting to get either of the 2 runes reversed them. So they each got 2. But yeah, so everyone's just. I feel like they have the lockdown, but maybe the kite potential for BKBs. But like you said, they're not touching this gyro unless they get the A blast damage before the BKB. Yep. And I'm expecting to see the Void go for, like, the Shadow Blade build. Earlier we saw No-Tail with, like, the Helm of the Dominator, Mjolnir, and it just felt really awkward for them to start fights. And even though they have a Sand King, I think it's better that Void goes first in this game because the counter-initiation and the follow-up from Sand King is very powerful.
Man, I love watching. I don't know. Kyle said he hates it because it's a game ruiner, but in Feeble, I don't know why I find it in Feeble and Brain Sap, like, level 1 and 2 against a Bane feels so bad. You can't last hit, and you just get out harassed.
I mean, this is my worst nightmare.
Oh, yeah, obviously, as a carry.
I don't like you for liking this.
Man, it's such an easy thing. Even I can play it. That's why I love it. Middle, that's going to be a big one. It is going to be a 3-3 going up against this OD 2-0. At least you can abuse the Tidebringer. Denies. Look at this. Oh, the range creep. Yep.
Nice Torrent to secure that deny. And he is going for the orb build on OD. Usually people just leave 1 point nowadays because the mana is just too expensive once you level it up.
Yep, especially because the intellect nerfs you've been talking about as well. So, besides that, bottom lane, Spearbreaker we saw, he already got that level 1 bash. He's been bashing him already, but it's a Night Stalker or Sand King. You can't really do much to them.
Yeah, these dual off lanes, I mean, there's just not enough damage to go around on these safe lane lineups. Like the Gyro hero that relies on levels in order to deal enough damage, and you can't chew through all that health, and that's why these tanky melee heroes are just so powerful in the meta right now for the offlane. Because at the end of the day, you bring 2 of them, and it's just not. And you see these trades going on, and that's why they have the Spearbreaker actually, because it allows as like this frontliner for Gyro, because Gyro can't trade with a Night Stalker. He only has the 50 damage, and he's a ranged hero.
Yep. And he's going to be going for that. Aquila almost has it on Gyro already. Middle. And you just see, even though, I mean, Somnus is winning middle right now pretty heftily. And it's funny because you see SEC, he's trying to harass. Luckily they buffed OD a little, right? If you miss uphill with your orb, you don't lose mana anymore, right?
They made it so you do lose mana.
You do lose mana,
It didn't previously, so it was actually a nerf. Yeah, this hero's not been given the love. I feel like you see this a lot in OD now. You just see them buying a bunch of mangoes, and I think that after maybe all the changes, I think it used to be Kunkka. Like Kunkka used to be a little bit at a disadvantage, but now that I'm thinking about it, all the buffs to Kunkka and all the nerfs to OD, it might just be tilted in favor of Kunkka, like we're seeing here. He just does so much damage on the denies.
You see, SEC just has to eat a mango already.
Bottom lane getting gone on an Ame, but he should be fine. And this, I mean, Gyro, even though he is getting pressured, he's getting a lot of levels because he's only got 1 support here, and the Bane's just protecting the DP in the top lane. The one thing I'll say is none of the cores on the side of LGD are really like independent without supports in this type of game. So they're going to have to, if they can keep the aggression up in all 3 lanes, then this will be good for the laning stage. But the Night Stalker might become a serious issue is basically what I'm saying. Because I don't think this Bane can afford to leave this DP alone. So they only have limited resources to protect this Gyro at nighttime. It's going to be that way in 30 seconds. And KP's already having a decent start. He is actually beating the Gyro in the CS chart.
Oh, man. But top lane, we see the AA. No more regen left. Probably going to have to go heal Mugi. He has tangles and a health potion. See, he shares a tango with Faith. So this is pretty much the most static 2-1-2 we've seen in a long while. No one has left the lane at all.
Not surprised with Chinese Dota for sure. I just think the patch just keeps telling you, like, there's no more objectives other than runes, like at the main runes. Yeah. And there's no reason to leave. Denies are too good, and what else are you going to do with your time? Nobody's vulnerable in the mid lane. These heroes like OD and Kunkka, they're not easy to gank, so you're just glued to your lane.
So Spearbreaker is level 3. Same with Ame. Is there any chance? Is it going to be? It feels like someone from this bottom lane is either going to get a kill or rotate. it feels like the only lane where stuff can really happen.
Yeah, definitely the lane to watch. Bane DP is not really a lane that kills you. They just kind of win the trades.
Unless you're AA without boots and you make a misplay, but that's about it. Man.
You'd probably die in the top lane, huh?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. If I was the AA, I would die so many times. If I was Moogie, I'd probably die. I'm like, would you consider yourself a greedy core, BSJ?
I think I used to be, but I think, oh, we're seeing the gank on the bottom lane, but he actually just doesn't get in range with the Sand King, and he's actually body blocking the Night Stalker. But will he get the Burrow Strike off? He will. He has a Mango on Night Stalker if he wants to use it, but the Shrine is available, so they may be able to turn this, and it looks like Ame is going to be just fine. As we saw in the top lane now, Void is in no man's land.
He's chilling. He has a health potion in his Q.
Okay, I'm surprised he didn't TP Shrine. Even though he has the salve, he is missing 700 health. I think I used to be a little greedy, but now there was like a meta for a period of time where the carry was basically the 2 when there's all about the mid lane and everything. Yeah. So I think a lot of carries kind of leaned away from this playstyle. And the one thing is, I think the meta's back for carries to play like that, like where they are the one position of the team. And one thing we were talking about is that I feel like Ame is one of the few that still plays like a hard 1, and this meta is just so good for players like that. And it's tough to adjust back as a carry because the meta has shifted so drastically back and forth for the way the carry role is played. And I think being a greedy carry nowadays is actually better. You want to be active, but there's no more sacrificing carries in these type of games.
Middle lane.
He is level 6 on Kunkka.
Yeah, but gets put under. Can't do much about that. Only 1 point next, as we mostly see now. Obviously, middle lane, you just want to max Tidebringer. But we're going to more likely see a kill. He went for the Wraith Band double null. He's going Aquila double null on OD. Is that not overkill? Or
I feel like he's going to have sustain issues. Like, and you're seeing it, he's already, like, you just get poked down by the constant Tidebringer spam, and he does miss the combo.
He just wanted to avoid the Astral, right? So he did a little early, I think.
Yeah. But bottom lane, Ame's receiving more and more pressure from, and they're not killing him per se, but this is limiting his farm, and now they're diving. They have the Night Stalker active. He gets the first blood, and
Faith is going to go down in return, it looks like. Oh, and Somnus actually comes in and steals it. In comes KP. If he gets 1 bash, could be a kill. Oh, he cancels it.
Misclick.
Yeah, it could have been, because that's a level 2 brain sap. That's a definite kill if he hits that, I think. A little bit of a mistake there.
Actually, top lane, Chalice said, the meantime, I said they couldn't leave him alone, but when he's level 6 and the Void's level 4, he's actually just taking it. Yeah, he's taking the tower. First DP ulti. That's a huge deal for DP to be able to open up the map for not only herself but the rest of her team. And Ame is having a rough start with the gyro, but the fact that the other 2 cores are doing so well, he has no issues with this at all.
Yeah, he's not even doing that terrible, right? He's 4th on the CS charts,
actually. He's just not high level.
Yeah, he's not high level. The thing is, though, right, at least with that hero, once you get called down, you can just join in on fights and you don't feel too bad about it.
That's all the hero needs, especially if he has the farm to back it up.
And no, Ame was shopping, I think, and he is going to get punished for that. We've all made that mistake before. You can just tell he was like just standing still. Like for 1 second after smoke break, you just know he was shopping.
His camera was not looking at his hero at the current moment. And that's what I was basically saying about this Night Stalker hero, and I hate seeing it when on the enemy team for myself, because as a carry, that your game this is what it's going to look like.
Ooh, middle. They're going to try to go, but they're not going to dive that quick. FY cancels again. Obviously, you have a guaranteed follow-up with the Torrent, but you don't want to dive that far, especially versus Sand King.
It's just not worth it. You know, the OD is, like, the Kunkka's so high value at this point, and actually the OD has evened out the levels because of that Kunkka rotation at bottom, and it only netted the 1 kill on Ancient Apparition.
It's literally within 2 gold on the net worth. SEC just passed him.
Yeah, it was crazy. The lane was looking in favor of the Kunkka, but now, actually, yeah, SEC is ahead. He has managed to just basically camp the mid lane, and he's maxing Astral, going for that farming build. I think that's pretty much the only way to play OD now with the nerfs to the orb mana cost. Can't really sustain it early on in the game.
So why do you pick this hero then? Like, well, what does he give you with this build? Does he just farm a lot more?
He's basically a right-click carry that offers the save. Like, they needed some semblance of disruption of LGD's combo. You know, they have all this single-target focus damage, and I view OD kind of like a hybrid hero now. Like, he just does a little bit of saving, but then at the end of the day, he has that right-click scaling. But he's not going to do anything for you at this stage in the game. Used to be that he'd be decently active and just rotate with the orb and just hit people, but now it's just not feasible with all the mana changes on his orb. But you just can't support it until you have 2,000 mana now. It used to be that you needed 1,600, and that's drastic change, the 400 mana at this stage in the game.
Yep. Speaking of builds, well, bottom lane, there might have been an initiation. He is going for the Helm of the Dominator on Faceless Void.
I like that a lot. I mentioned that they had no clear objective taking, so if you don't have clear objective taking,
steal a Siege unit.
Yep, there you go. Any hero becomes a hero that can push if you have the ability to just take over a catapult.
Yep, ooh, and Kaka is going to spot out this charge. He knows it's going middle. They're just going to back out. Nice vision given there. Is he going to – nope, he's going to cancel.
They just can't fight this, though. Kunkka's level 9. The DP ulti's already used.
You step in spot, right? He has level 3X now. It's a very big cast. Like, if AA even looks, he's going to die.
They are TPing in on the Night Stalker with the ultimate deployed,
Did Chalice not see that? We're going to find out, though. He is going to be sucking him down. We are going to see a torrent go out. There we go. The sleep flies forward. FY goes in. The boat hits. OD gets almost 2-shot. They're going to look for the Night Stalker. Just flies over. And no, I think he saw him. He was just baiting him in. All that save.
I was kind of under the impression they just couldn't fight him, but yet Newbee chose to take it. They have the
here we go. Chrono only hits one, and that is a tough kill on the Kunkka. We do have a stun. He is going to come out afterwards. Faith has 0 HP. He might get run down by this. Oh, my God. He just gets cleaved down. They can't even kill this Kunkka. They finally bring him down. Will they get him into the silence? He has it. One more wave. No, gets away. Now Kaka will stun forward. Spear Breaker. So much armor. Can't even bring him down. OD's coming. One orb. Nope. Doesn't need it. KP voids him down, and now they're defending. This should be another kill on X Nova. Gets the brain sap. Goes for a kill. Can't get it.
Yeah, they just kited out the remainder of that DP ultimate, so that was really, like, patient, I think. Like, I feel like I was confused when they chose to take the fight and the Void had not TP'd in yet, but he just TP'd in towards the tail end of that DP ult, and even though they didn't burst down the Kunkka straight from full to 0, I mean, what's LGD's counterplay when Gyro's not there and the DP ultimate's already down? But they get the X marks the spot. He already used Astral in order to farm the creep wave.
Yep, they knew that.
And he's a goner.
That's just smart. That's just a heads-up play. You see the Astral come out, you have that level 3X. That's an easy catch.
That Void does have the Helm Dom complete.
Centaur's just going to pull the creeps, I assume.
And the creep does operate in the Chronosphere, so it's a nice little bonus for.
It's a guaranteed follow-up, right, with the stun.
But I don't think they necessarily have stun problems. I think they have damage issues. The Bash coming out, but just Burrow strikes away.
He had the level 4X and made the difference. But they clear out middle, so 4 heroes committed by a PSG.LGD middle, and they don't even get the tower yet. But Ame's free farming. That's the thing, right? He didn't go to that middle fight. He just farm bottom, TP top, farm top, and he's moving back up. He's about to be 3rd in net worth right now. All 3 Radiant cores are top.
I love seeing the difference in playstyle of these carries. Like, you think of Gyro as the rotating carry active, and yet for Ame, they know that he was going to have a rough start. He hasn't really shown up to anything, and that's not like taken away from him. Yeah, and I like the Treads build, the tankiness against the raw burst of Newbee. Doesn't really matter how fast you move if you're just disabled. Yep. But bottom lane, they get the AA ulti onto the Spear Breaker. He's going to charge away into his own death. Tried to get the KS from the Night Stalker, but didn't quite work out.
So 4 staff on SCC is going to be coming up very shortly. Oh, Grip comes on. Look at this. From afar, they're just going to find the AA. Should be a kill. Silence comes out, hits onto 2. They bring down the AA. Will they get anyone else? Charge is giving him vision. He's probably not going to be there in time, but it won't matter. The vision is enough, and look who shows up. Ame comes down and says hello. Looks like they want to push this tier 1.
That's a typical carry contribution to the team fight
hello.
I've ever seen it.
What, steal EXP?
Yeah, I'm here for the XP. Maybe get the last hit on the tower.
That's it. That's all I need. That is going to be nice, though. He should possibly get level 10 down here as well. We see Somnus just did. God, his talents are so good. Plus 40 damage at level 10.
Even 10 health regen is nothing to scoff at, because that gets buffed up by your strength. And a hero that, I mean, I view these talents as like if they replace an item that you would, or not even necessarily an item, but like something an item would give you. Like Kunkka does not build sustain items. He doesn't build anything that keeps him up in health. And
I still think I've only seen torrent damage though.
I've seen the 10 health regen almost every time.
Have you?
Yeah, at least that's what I've been seeing. Maybe I'm just
crazy.
Yeah, maybe I'm just crazy.
I mean, I didn't say you did, but yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we'll see. This game, level 15, this will be the ultimate decider.
Yeah, they are smoked up on the side of Newbee, so they're looking to get something done at nighttime in the mid lane. LFY may just be the gank tank extraordinaire.
Gotta be cool. That chrono is up right now. Level 4 time walk.
LGD is more than ready for this, though.
I like FY just standing there. This positioning by Ame at the top side, too, so good. They're going to see a rocket go back. They're going to try to defend this tower. FY just going to tank the smoke, and there's 5 heroes middle now from both teams. And I like this. You see Ame, he just leaves. He's like, we're not fighting this.
They do get the deny, though, so it's just the map control they gain from the tower. Obviously, the tier 1s in the mid lane are important, but they spot out Ame. I think they have a ward on him, or how do they do?
They do. The cogwheel ward, so they know he's up here. I think he might just die. Nice stun from the low ground. That's a level 3 stun, too. In comes the A blast. It does say that's a kill. What a stun by Kaka. That was nice.
And that's exactly why you picked the Sand King with the AA, just the nice setup for the Ancient Apparition ulti, and I really like the patience on the Night Stalker Void. He set it up so that when he was inside of the AA ultimate, he got the slow off, and that's an important kill.
Yeah, it is. So they go from, what, LGD gets 0 gold if you didn't read the new patch notes. If a tower gets denied, you get 0 gold. Everyone on your team gets 0 gold, and then they go kill the carry. That's a big play by Newbee. The thing is, where do you go now if you're Mugi? You pick up the treads, you have the helmet of the Dominator. Do you go damage now? Do you go more utility?
I prefer something like a Shadow Blade personally, but I actually, it's funny because I win a helmet of the Dominator recently in one of my games, and I'm like, I don't feel like there's I don't like Mask of Madness on Void. I don't love it because you just die to any amount of stuns, and they just get the Night Stalker on the top lane with the damage between him on the gyrocopter as well as the full duration Fiend's Grip. But Void's just a hero that he feels a bit awkward. So they get the Chronosphere, follow it up with the boat. Or no, that's the defensive boat.
It's going to help him out a little bit. He's going to try to run, and the damage reduction might actually save him. I believe it will. Phase boots out of there. Chrono goes. They get the kill on AA, and God, the damage reduction on boat. There's no way you live there, and he does, and now they get a double kill.
The defensive sleep, even just buying that extra second. And that was during nighttime, so now it's going to be daytime. They do have Night Stalker ultimate. He has the Vanguard going for the Crimson, but at the end of the day, they have damage issues because OD is not online yet. He just has the Force Staff going for the BKB. Doesn't even have an item like Treads. And I'm like I said with the Void, the team fight did happen, but I just feel like it's a slight awkward progression from here. I personally like
going farm quick anymore, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can jungle with this, but it's obviously not nearly as fast as just going for the Mask of Madness build or the Battle Fury. But I feel like in this type of game, if they see him, he just dies. So he either needs like a BKB or a Shadow Blade so that they can't just kill him.
They go in, Kaka gets a stun off. That is going to be a double AA ulti, but FY should have enough to live. Look at that cleave, already so much damage, and now the full team rotates in. And man, LGD, they're rotating a lot of heroes for these kills, but they're getting objectives right after. I wonder if they go for this tower or not.
They do
they don't have Ghosts yet.
Yeah, they know Ghost for another minute.
And Ame TP's bottom, so just bait out some TP's top maybe. And now you see the Void. The Void has only hit 2 Chronos, and it's been on 1 hero each. Do you have to get bigger ones now, or already?
I think they most importantly need to lead to a crucial kill on a core. That last Chrono, they didn't even kill the Kunko. So if I think if they remove one of the cores from LGD's fight, that's actually enough this game. But that's honestly unreliable without the OD
grip
there.
Top too, and here we go. Boat's coming in. Torrent hits as well. The damage is too much, and damn, you see the warding, right? The Dire has 1 defensive ward that doesn't scout that out. Meanwhile, the Radiant, they're blocking a camp, see the shrine, and they have vision going into the jungle. There's not much
This is
Dire
just the part
can
of the
do.
map that's tough to play at this stage in the game, the OD. He's just in danger zone there. You said they have all the vision in the world to see any help that he may be getting. LGD has that, and Bane's just scary in these type of situations.
Somnus is just frozen by himself.
What is he doing?
I think he tried to kill Faith, but his boat wasn't up. I actually have no clue. He dies behind a tower. Gives up a little bit of gold there. Somnus getting a little greedy. Bottom lane, they've already rotated. There isn't an ulti from Gyro. Used it to farm, but he is going to go in. Is he going to ulti? He sure is. 1 bash should be a kill.
Oh, the silence.
Don't need it. The silence. Yep. As you said, Chalice comes in, level 2 silence. And what about that second item BKB on Death Prophet? I mean, it's not crazy, but usually you rather see an A on disc, even a Shiva's, but straight BKB.
Yeah, I mean,
no
this is something we see in the Chinese scene way more than any other any other region for sure. They just want their ability to march into fights and have the simplicity of the fights. I think we've noticed that, at least in the games that I cast earlier, the simplicity of these fights is really important. And if he has the BKB, he's actually just not afraid of pretty much anything on the side of Newbee.
He's going to die in base.
If he might actually, nope. He's going to pay with his own life on FY, at least he should. And there's another fight going on the Bane in their own jungle.
Bane just, I don't know. It's not much of a fight. It's Bully Hunter's got called and he just got destroyed. And so, well, it's a 2-for-1 supports trade, but, I mean, it still opens up the map, right? Ame was just farming bottom. Tier 2 goes down.
He's going for the Ags build on the gyrocopter. So while he is disabled, he still will output damage.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Is it just because of the diff? Do you like the Axe personally, I guess?
I like it if you can get away with it, just because you don't want to use flag nearly as often to farm now, because if you put it on cooldown before a crucial fight, then your hero's basically out of the fight. And the cooldown's significant enough now that that can happen, so the Ags allows you to maintain farm speed without actually sacrificing your ability to fight, because that flag nerf was what I thought might have put Gyro over the edge, and a lot of people adjusted saying, we're just going to build an Ags. And we saw I don't know if you saw the Ags Gyro with the Wisp earlier.
Oh, yeah, I did.
That was nuts.
Yeah, they just...
Machine gun Wisp.
That was amazing, especially you get the level 20 talent like you said, and it's GG.
And he is going Shadow Blade on the Void, so he finally reveals what he chooses to go here. And you just saw bottom, like, they clicked Q with Spirit Breaker, and he just dies. I don't even think he was, like, playing aggressively or anything like that. He was under his own tier 1, and they just chased him down.
Is this the problem? You don't have any cores who can catch up on Newbee, and they're down, right? Like, they should be ahead with these builds. Like, you don't have a Battle Fury on Void. OD, I mean, you can't build anything that helps him farm, and you have a Night Stalker. He's a do shit off laner, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't farm.
And he has the Crimson Guard complete, but
we good.
Any amount of team fight helps at this stage in the game, but LGD is smoked up.
They got charge. Oh, BKB gets popped by Chalice. Kaka on the backside is ulting. He stuns it, and he's going to go for the Kung on the backside. Does a ton of damage. It just seems to be very split up. No one's actually dying yet. They find KP, and, well, that Crimson Guard going to defend for a little bit, but it looks like he is going to go down. Rocket will get the kill. Will follow. No, the flag cannon does. They're trying to. Yep, he goes down. Not yet. The AA gets nightmared. Oh, and then the ulti, but a nice put under coming from the OD. Chalice is alive. There goes KP and Faith. He comes out. Void still alive. Not anymore. And Chalice stays alive.
By out of position, I mean he jebaited the entire team into death. I think
his team just saved him.
I mean, that's one of those things, though. He's probably expecting that. He's probably, in some capacity, they're communicating, like, we can back you up. I mean, he knows that, like, that Bane sleep was on point, and he's done that twice now in X Nova, where his cores are barely living. That 1 second of invulnerability during sleep, the Burrow strike onto 3, though.
Ame should be able to get out of there before he gets frozen. Chalice will locked down, but look at this, the double Spirit Siphon already coming out. KP pops it again. Whoa. OD drops the hammer on poor Spirit Breaker. They're moving forward. Can they find anyone else? Torrent's going to go. Hits the Sand King, probably the best target to hit. And they're just going to TP out. They're all going to make it.
Void is looking to catch Chalice, but he doesn't even have Chrono.
X Nova.
And this is why I don't love the Void as a core with AA nearly as much as the other options, just because it's so long cooldown for the setup. Yeah. I mean, they're killing these supports, but
that's it.
Who cares? Honestly, Bane, Spirit Breaker are two heroes that are going to do what they do with no items.
Yep. That was a Spirit Breaker win Midas, by the way.
Yeah, I actually noticed that myself. I'm like, wow, he actually is really high net worth.
And middle Void. Oh, my God. The cleave from Somnus comes in. Look at this. Yule's into the air. They're going to get the ulti off. Will slow him a little bit. He's trying to fly above the trees, but the X marks the spot, brings him back. And they
so good against the Void and the Night Stalker. Both heroes rely on a mobility spell or the ability to just walk away.
Oh, the vision, this ward that was placed down gets him that. Put him under. Nice double stun. I don't think it's going to matter, though. Here comes the Torrent. Comes out. Nice 4-step uphill, so it will matter. Now Kaka, well, he goes down. And at this point, I wouldn't say chain feeding, but they are chain losing lives.
Sorry, I just didn't know what to say to that one. That was... I feel like the Kunkka X-Mark is just so powerful this game, and even though they have the OD in prison, like...
It sets you up for a torrent, right?
Yeah.
If you get X and you put yourself under, you're still going to get torrented.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly the save that you look for, and these heroes like Void, like, their ability to play the game is directly related to how much their survivability mechanic provides them with survivability. And he can't reliably time walk. You saw he just got massacred.
Instantly killed.
Yeah, and he does have the Purge creep now, which could be nice for the silence.
FY is making me lose it, though, man. He has not used this Midas since we talked about it 100 seconds ago.
Oh, my gosh.
Now he's just charging in. He doesn't care.
He bought it for the attack speed.
Oh, he charged the Helm of the Dominator creep to Midas it, and now he's going to die for it. That was worth it. I would 100% do the same thing. I'm not even mad. He's dead.
This is space, if I've ever seen it.
It is. And he got 200 gold, right?
That's 4 heroes.
That's Midas. That's reliable, right?
Yeah, he did not lose gold for that.
Feels good.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's going out in style for sure. That's establishing dominance. That's important, especially in a game like this. Between two teams from the same region, make sure you lay down
the law.
The law, exactly.
And top lane, so Dire does have a ward. They spot out the DP farming, but what can they do? They don't have a tier 2 to TP to. The Shrine is sentryed up by the Radiant. Look at they run up here smoked, but DP is long gone. That's the thing, like good wards, they're only good if you work around them, right? Like if you place a ward somewhere to avoid ganks, that's good, but aggressive wards,
it's all about the lanes too, because look at the way LGD is allowed to play, because mid lane and top lane are both pushed out. So even though they have these wards that see LGD on the side of Newbee, LGD can just group up because they don't have anything that they need to do. They can just sit behind their gyro and DP and Kunkka even while they're just hitting neutrals. And pretty much if LGD doesn't get caught out, I can't really envision how Newbee wins team fights. They had damage issues we talked about in the draft. Other than the AA, they really don't have any damage dealers. The OD finally has BKB, but with the BKBs on LGD, you know, OD doesn't matter if he has BKB. He doesn't do any damage.
Yeah, and Kunkka can just cleave someone else, right?
Yep, and that's the one weakness of the Void OD combo is both heroes do virtually no damage through that BKB. You can lock them down, but you just don't do any damage.
SEC will make it. FY canceled it early, and they see that. So FY charges, sees that the OD TPs, and they just run into Roche. It's a nice bait and switch right there.
They immediately just smoke up, actually, and they're going to reset with the Kunkka and the Bane. I like this positioning from LGD. They don't need any extra heroes in the pit. The Axe Gyrocopter actually does a lot of damage, and they're just going to get it uncontested.
And that Gyro will take the Aegis. They're good to go. So Chalice has had his BKB for a while. Ame just got his BKB, and I believe Kunkka has it. So 3 BKBs you were talking about. If they get it off before that chrono, I just don't know. You're right. You just can't really even kill them.
You're stunned, but you don't die. So in the boat realm, if they get that off as well, they are smoked up looking to take a fight into that Aegis.
TD on OD.
Okay, has the Hurricane Pike as well. I mean, if he can get some end racked up, they can definitely burst
that's
people.
Not who you want, though. I'm sure LGD is completely fine with that.
He's got buyback. He's going to use it immediately.
Oh, and I like that he charges in, cancels it so he can cast his ult sooner. Gets the put under. Spirit Siphon there. The grip on the backside. X-Nova just die back within 5 seconds. But the Gyro's going in, trying to kill off Faith. On the backside, ulti goes. They kill KP, and now Dire gets bottom tower. But the chrono comes out. It does hit 3. Here comes the boat. Hits onto 1, gives them the Pirate Thrum. Ulti comes out. That's going to do nothing versus Thrum. Nice stun, stopping the Kunkka from doing damage. Rocket will fly forward. Doesn't have the imprisonment. They're just going to try to right-click him. Doing a ton of damage. Nice Hurricane Pike away. Has the Astral. Doesn't get it off. Kaka trying to run away. Has Blink. And should be good.
And there you're seeing the damage issues. And that fight is interesting. It kind of broke up the Night Stalker against the world on the side of the LGD fight. And then the Gyro against the world, but the Gyro just has his BKB, and he's killing everybody while he's doing this, and the Night Stalker, meantime, is just dying. And they just can't deal with these BKBs, and they're going for BKBs of their own, but the way I look at these fights is if both teams pop their BKBs, who's happy about it?
Yeah.
And it's obviously LGD. They do plenty of damage. The Axe Gyro actually outputs a lot of damage, and once he has this butterfly, his damage output is going to be pretty bonkers. And Void, if he can't man up against you and has to defend or use Time Walk defensively, that just is not the way he wants to play. They do go for the pick-off in the bottom lane. They catch the Kunkka, forcing him to BKB. He's going to live, but
he's going back in.
They can actually just turn this.
And there we go. They go in. Looks like the AA will just get right-click down. The Ag's doing damage, but the Crimson Guard taking up quite a bit. He's frozen. Doesn't look like he can kill him. Well, they might be able to kill him once. He's going to BKB before the Aegis. That's very aggressive. In comes the stun. Has the flat cannon procking away. Will they be able to stun him beforehand? SCC says hello. Turns around. They're going to get him. In comes the call down. Hits him once. Mugi's there. Do they chrono him? We're going to see. Doesn't look like they do. Going to put up the time dilation there. Just right-click him down. The orb's doing so much. A nice grip from the backside. They lock him down. Doesn't matter. Ame goes down. Has to buy back. KP is getting cleaved, but FY damage done. Kaka gets pulled back. Torrent, he goes down on the backside. In comes Chalice. This guy doesn't even look like an offlaner. He is so farmed right now.
I love this immediate buyback from the Gyrocopter because they know that they want to use this DP ultimate to force the issue, and they still have all their BKBs on the other heroes. And that was a weird fight because Spearbreaker and Death Prophet were top when that started. So they ran all the way from top during the time that Gyro was dying. And at the end of the day, they're actually not going to be able, looks like they're going to be able to force anything because of the Void buyback. So actually, Ame's buyback maybe not the most effective buyback.
I mean, it was an Ame for a Void buyback, though, right? Isn't that still a 1-for-1 buyback?
Yeah, at the end of the day, yeah. And Ame, he's going to continue to scale with farm, while Void is already struggling.
He's just trying to right-click creep slowly.
Yeah, exactly. So you're right. The amount of gold lost between the two heroes is definitely more impactful for the Void. And he's still going to be just fine on the gyrocopter. They actually have 3 of the top 4 net worths, and OD is just not a hero that's going to solo carry the game like this. He has to individually right-click each hero down, and that just, you don't have enough time with your BKB. You only have the lower and lower duration, 8 seconds now.
But once the other team has 5-second BKBs too, right, like the Sand King can go in, bait out the BKBs, and then that OD can really output damage, and maybe that's
He needs the Void to scale with him too, though.
Sure.
Absolutely, you're correct. But if the Void isn't having that, if he's not a threat, they have so much single target crap that they can just throw on the OD that
and we saw, right, they gripped and Spearbreaker ulted him while he was BKB'd, and they couldn't stop it for too long. FY might be getting rotated under. If they find Ame, this would technically be a dieback, and I think they might, but
he has no TP, and they know that.
Oh my god. I mean, you don't even want to use B. You just die here, right? Is he going to go for a fight? He BKBs. He's going to go for the call down. The rest of the team's coming. FY is in here. Nice chrono on it, too. Boat comes in. Did it hit the rum on top of him? It did not. So now Gyro taking a ton of damage. Grip comes in. Ulti onto the OD. So much damage going out, but the Sand King does so much right there with the stun. Uh-oh, Void is going to get taken down by that. He gets banished. Will they get him? Oh, the stun by Kaka saves him, but the OD ultis doesn't save him, goes down on the outside. KP now getting drained, and you can't run away. This DP as a Yule is pretty speedy, but the silence is enough. Can't wave. Casts ulti and runs away.
As you said, he cannot run away, but he does.
He does run away.
Run away. But that fight was chaotic as all hell. You know, Ame got caught out. He actually turns with the BKB, and I mean,
I thought that felt weird. The boat didn't really hit anyone. The boat only hit the OD, didn't get the rum on anyone, but it didn't matter. I think they're just right. They're 10K gold up.
Yep.
And you can tell like that just felt like a 10K fight.
And they didn't even have to use DP ulti there, so that's just a lane of racks. No Void buyback obviously doesn't really matter because he doesn't have the chrono. I don't think the OD buyback actually does anything before his BKB is up in 5 seconds. And this is just probably a free racks.
The harass out Chalice. He's just doing it all. Has a Kunkka behind him so he knows he's safe. There you go. One melee Rax goes down, a crazy hectic 3-for-3 fight, but as you said, no DP ulti used means a free Rax.
So earlier we were talking about how like the lane of Rax really only has an impact based on how much time it takes for the enemy team to clear the wave, and they had an Ember Spear with a Battle Fury, and that didn't change the game at all. In this case, none of the heroes on Newbee flash farm creep waves, so this is going to make it even harder for them to take fights because none of their heroes, they don't have a Battle Fury on Void.
Yep.
OD's not a hero that just shreds the creeps, and when the lanes are constantly at your base, you can't really make use of this Night Stalker.
Your Sand King's the only one, which is not good, right? He's your initiation as well, and he's the only one who can actually farm these waves quick enough. And now Kunkka, well, get ready for some one-hit crits here, because he has the full Daedalus. And man, do you think, is Kunkka, I mean, he's seeing a ton of play. When do you think he's going to start seeing bans?
By the way, he picked 10 health regen.
Did he? Okay.
No, but I think that at some point, like heroes like Kunkka, I don't think you necessarily get away with picking them first round. So I think he's going to start becoming a second round ban just because he owns these heroes like Void. Any of these heroes that rely on running away from you, he's a core version of Disruptor is basically what he is. And we see the dust in the bottom lane. They catch the Spear Breaker, free kill, a little bit of int. Midas is not on cooldown, or it's still on cooldown, so no efficiency loss there.
That's good, because he was struggling early.
I know that's what you were going to say.
It was. I just realized how quickly does he attack? He has a lot of attack speed.
Yeah, that hero has...
How is it only 0.82? He has a Midas, Shadowblade, and Treads.
He has a bad base attack time.
It's terrible. 0.82?
Yeah, his base attack time is like 1.9 or something.
I mean, it makes sense with the greater bash, obviously, but still.
Yeah, there's that old days where they finally nerfed him, where they're just like, okay, you're not allowed to play this guy like a right-clicking core. He has to be a support, basically. And Newbee may look to do something with that, but it's still daytime. Don't necessarily want to utilize the Night Stalker ulti, no smokes. And I think if they can play these long, drawn-out fights on the side of Newbee, they can win, but they have to bring down one of the cores because all 3 cores from LGD just output so much damage. The Kunkka Cleave, the Gyro Flag, and the DP Ultimate obviously is nothing that you can ignore.
Yep. Seeing that we have not looked at Jar in a while. He's going Eye of Scotty. What a just tanking up because he knows they don't want to get burst. Yeah.
And you can't really rely on something like a Satanic against the AA as well as the Spirit Vessel on the Night Stalker, so he just goes for the raw health. And is also good against the BKBs.
Makes sense. Have you ever seen a Kunkka actually get Ghost Ship Fleet?
Not a core Kunkka. Because that 50% free damage.
That's just nuts.
It's too much, I think. I think if they're going to nerf heroes like this, they will probably just touch the talents. Because every one of these talents is incredibly impactful.
Yeah.
Especially with the strength changes. 25 strength, that's so much health.
Yep. Health, damage, it's a ton of HP regen. You said he already has a 10 health regen. He gets another one at level 20 plus damage.
No items for HP regen. He has 22.5. And that's, I mean, that's just an item you don't have to worry about buying. And he just goes for another Daedalus.
Do it. As a full
galore.
Chrysalis. So this seems to be where we're playing a little bit slower now. LGD's up 13K. Roche is up. Is there anything they need to do before they push?
I think that LGD just make sure they don't get picked off here. Newbee does not take Roche at all very fast, so you can react to it eventually. Like they know they're all missing, and you see them just cluttered up. I wouldn't expect. Yeah, I'm not surprised that they're just smoking in. They're not scared to take fights on LGD.
The scan showed for like 1 second. They might think they're actually in Roche right now. But they have vision. Yeah, look at that vision. The Radiant has ward. They see 3, 4 heroes. They know exactly where they're at because of that good warding.
He is charging in on the Spirit Breaker. Shadow bladed up.
Oh, Sentry gets placed down on the backside. There's the charge. They're going to lock him down. Down goes Kunkka. Not quite yet. Chalice on the backside, though. He got a lot of Spirit Siphons. That grip is going to hold the Night Stalker in place. They get the kill. Mugi, he's still alive, but the BKB, he gets the Chrono off, hits 2, but the Ghosts are just going to kill him. They're chasing him down. Somnus with the crits. And now SCC, he's BKB'd, but so is everyone else. And oh, that cleave. There's the X. Puts himself under. Who's going to get the kill? It'll be Chalice. Takes it now. KP. Trying to run. Do we have an X? He's trying, but it is nighttime. Shivas? Nope.
And they
good game. All right. And
I
think
it's too hard when you're that far down.
As you said, I think the biggest thing you said, if Newbee doesn't win their lanes, Void doesn't catch up, OD doesn't catch up, Nightstalker sure as hell doesn't catch up. You just have no one to catch up afterwards. And
absolutely.
You lost laning phase.
I'm not a huge fan of the Void OD combo in the current meta just because neither hero flash farms, neither hero pushes objectives, and it's not like other teams are skimping out on teamfight or anything like that. Yeah. And you're countered by a BKB. You're 2 right-clicking cores who, oddly enough, are countered by BKB. That's not something you very often say. And
you just think OD's like not a good hero, and again, like has he just shifted out of this like heavy teamfight metagame?
I feel like the nerfs to OD are just too significant in the laning stage especially, but also, like, I just look at a hero like Void, and I think, like, you know, Slark came out in the start of the patch, and then people were picking him in games that were just crappy Slark games, and he was just losing. And I feel like Void's a very similar hero to Slark, where your Time Walk either gives you invulnerability, like you just don't die because you have Time Walk, or you just get X'd in a Torrent combo and you just blow up. And you see that in his KD score. It's like, I just look at a Void pick, and if you aren't able to play Void in a way where you can show on lanes when Chrono's off cooldown, or on cooldown, excuse me, and you're just hitting creeps, you maybe get to go the Battle Fury build, that hero's just hard to play, and like it just didn't feel like an ideal game for any of their heroes. You know, they had the Kaka Sand King, they picked some comfort zone heroes, but at the end of the day, like, you build this Helm Dom, and I like the idea that you have no objective taking, so you build this Helm Dom, but it only works if you're actually able to walk into buildings. Yeah. And he's just 0-6.
That's the biggest thing, right? You said also no wave clear. Like, how can you push towers if all your waves are always pushed in? Because they have a Kunkka, they have a Gyro. They have even their offlaner, DP. Just wave, you're good.
Yep. And DP is just one of those heroes that I'm growing more and more to like it after watching all these games, just because it is so obvious what it gives you. It's just like, we're going to march down a lane. We're going to take this team fight. You just can't fight into those ghosts. Like, it's just too much damage. And she just gives you the, like, all you need with DP is catch, because all that she lacks is the ability to force fights on her own. And look at the rest of their lineup. It's just stuns. Every single hero has a stun, some semblance of catch. And, you know, Kyle always lays out the fact that you need these just check marks in your draft. And I think that a lot of this patch, you know, more so than ever, is just drafts. Yeah. And
so what about is DP going to get, because obviously we see DP can be first picked. Is there ever a chance teams use a ban on her in the first 3?
I mean,
or is there too many
such
heroes?
A weird hero, you know? Like, it doesn't, you don't go like, oh crap, they have a DP. You know, you don't think like, but that hero just does its job, and being able to pick a core in the early rounds. I don't think there's very many cores you can pick early on. Especially ones that can, like, used to have tiny heroes like that.
Razor.
Razor.
Both just gone now.
Yeah, Omni. All these heroes just got nerfed into the ground. And so even though DP's gotten a few nerfs, not nearly as drastic as these other heroes. And when you can first pick it and it goes 9-1 and 14, they even pick burst damage to deal with it in their eyes. And DP just ran rampant in that game.
Yeah. Now what you can do? Well, that's the end of game number 1. There is still a game number 2. If you love some LGD, Newbee, I mean, both these teams are more than likely going to be at TI.
Yeah.
So it's fun seeing what they're going to do. I mean, obviously, there's still technically what? If they go by the 2-week meta, there's still, what, like 14 patches till TI? I was thinking, I was like, Jesus. I don't think they're going to do as big as they've been doing, though.
Yeah.
That is my general consensus with how the community is.
The feedback from the pro scene especially, it's I mean, you see it in the sloppy. I think LGD looks the cleanest out of every team out there.
I mean, they just won Epicenter, and they're. I mean, I would. It's 32-23, but I'd say this was a stomp.
It just looks formulaic. Like they hit their timings, they build the right items, and team fights look pretty seamless. Yeah. And even though some people got caught out, they just come from all the way across the map and just turn the fight. They have these BKBs. All 3 of their cores have it, so anyone that Newbee goes on, they're just going to show up, and they have the Spearbreaker global presence, and I like watching LGD right now. I think that you can see. I think it's funny because when all the patches change the game so much, I think just sticking to your guns is the most important thing. And
they do, like you said, Ame plays. I wouldn't say the same 3 to 5 heroes, but he plays the same kind of hero, and he plays in the same way. He's always going to farm. That one fight LGD lost, Ame was still farming, so they probably didn't even consider it a loss, right?
Yep.
He was still farming off somewhere else, and it worked out for him. So that is the end of game number 1. We are going to have a game number 2. We are going to take a short break, too, but when you come back, Ame versus Mugi. My God, it's too much for me even.